Welcome back, everyone. Today we're going to be working with the Crosman MTR77 NP. We're going to do a few mods to it. We're going to fix the trigger on it. We're going to fix the barrel so the shroud does not turn on the barrel, so we can use the open sights. And we're also going to test out the UTG 3-9x32 new generation compact CQB scope. So let's get started. Okay, finding problems right away. As you can see, the stock mounting bolts that secure the barrel, there's absolutely no blue thread locker on them. They were both very, very loose. Well, right away I'm finding that half of these screws are just, don't even need a screwdriver. You just take them out with your fingers. No blue thread locker on anything. I'd probably put that on every screw putting this thing back together. Well, the coarse thread screws seem to be tight, but anything with machine threads is loose. I'll show you right here. Stock screw. No thread locker on it. Okay, we'll have to be careful when we take this apart because we got 3 screws top there that are staying in the stock. We'll just leave them in there. Okay, because this gun is so much work to take apart and put back together, we're just going to use the smallest bearing that we have, which is the 5x8 by 2.5 millimeter RC bearing. We're going to put that in there. I put a little drop of silicone gun lube on the pin before I put it in there, so you can see that. And then we just slip the trigger back into place. Notice I haven't taken this screw out yet. I'm going to wait and I'm going to test it like this, and then I'm going to see if this screw makes any difference for adjustment before I take it out. assembling, we're going to put this half of the stock onto the barrel first. Put some blue thread locker on there. Put it in there. I was really surprised with this rifle. Place where there's normally a screw holding the back side of the receiver to the stock. The stud is here with the threads, but there is no screw there. They apparently feel it's held in place tight enough just with all the screws holding the stock in place. So there is no large screw holding the back side of the stock on. Okay, we've got both of our receiver mounting bolts in with the blue thread locker. We will put the blue thread locker on these two screws on both sides, so a total of 4 screws, and then all the rest are just kind of self-threading screws that seem to stay tight within the plastic. So once we get them in, we'll have that all done. Okay, to fix the issue with the barrel, I have 2 set screws like this. They are scope stop screws from the spares that come with the heavy duty scope mounts. They're 5mm set screws, and it has the nub that you can see on there, which is 3.39mm. So what I've done is I have picked up a 3.5mm drill, bought it from Granger. I'm going to drill 2 3.5mm holes through the plastic and into the barrel, and then I picked up a 5mm tap and drill set at the local hobby store. And once we have the 3.5mm hole drilled through the polymer jacket and a hole into the barrel, then I'll drill a 5mm hole through the plastic only and use the 5mm tap to thread it, and then we will put some blue thread locker on the set screw and run it in, and the probe will go in and lock into the barrel, and that will keep this polymer sleeve from rotating on the barrel each time I cock it. Don't want to go all the way through into the rifled steel barrel. We only want to make an indent. When we start seeing the steel shavings coming through, we know we've gone in far enough. Now we enlarge the holes to 5mm. So much for quality drill bits made in Japan. tapping the hole should be very easy. Okay, now we're just going to put some blue thread locking around the set screws and run them in. And the set screws go in just far enough. And now we can no longer turn the barrel. Okay, we are now ready to put on the AR-15 carry handle. This is one I bought on Amazon.com. And if you buy one for the NP version, this one on Amazon, it says military law enforcement match grade. It's metal. Do not buy that one. It's only $19.98. But this front bolt, see, these screws should be recessed up so they go into the notches here. And this one, the front one, is almost completely flush. And that's not really good. This one works okay, but I would opt to spend a couple more bucks and get one that is built a little more properly. You know, it's quick detach, it's got the elevation and windage. Yeah, it's metal. It gives the rifle a nice feel, but get one just a slightly better quality than that military law enforcement match grade. And the front sight up here, that is a UTG low profile Picatinny Weaver mount, bought at Mills Fleet Farm for $23.99. Okay, we are all set to go outside and sight this in and see how well it does shooting with open sights. Once I blow up that red dot, I ain't got anything to aim at.
You took the red dot right out of it.
Yeah, we're going to try 5 more shots from 15 yards at a target where I can see the crosshairs. I won't be able to see where the pellets are hitting at that distance, but the camera will. Well, that's not bad from 45 feet, because it's really kind of hard to see the target from that distance. Okay, this is what I'm looking at through the open sight. So, not too bad for open sights. Now we're going to slip the carry handle sight off, and we're going to install the UTG 3 to 9 by 32 compact CQB bug buster scope. That's a pretty bad looking boy with that bug buster scope on it. Some of the features on this scope, it has the quick release weaver mounts. It comes with closable caps, front and rear, and you can take off the front cap and put on the 2-inch sunshade, which is what I have opted for. It's illuminated reticle, both red and green, and it's got exposed turrets with locking rings, so you can lock them in place, and that way they will not move. The nice heavy duty mounts, and it says it's got a broad eye relief, but it is still kind of narrow as far as I'm concerned. But It is good. You can get a clear objective and clear reticle. Right now I'm shooting at 20 yards. This is where it's got to be set just shy of 25 yards. And it's like I say, this one adjusts from 3 yards to infinity. I had it in close range indoors and it was real clear. And now we're gonna take about 5 shots at 20 yards and see how we do with a good scope on this rifle. Okay, we'll be shooting at 20 yards using H&N Barracuda Hunter Extreme 9.26 grain pellets. That's not too bad. One was low right on center, one was a little bit left. I think I'll resight it and I'll try it one more time. Well, that group was even better yet. If I try it one more time, I'll probably get all 5 in the bullseye. The scope and rifle are apparently more accurate than I am. Well, to sum things up, it's a lot more fun being able to shoot with the open sights and being able to hit the target. You know, putting the 2 set screws in here and taking it apart and putting the 5x8mm RC bearing on the trigger, give us that short trigger pull. Finding out that all our stock mounting screws were loose. That's probably why we didn't get quite as accurate accuracy test in the initial review. We'll put blue thread locker on the stock mounting screws, which there's only 2. This one does not have a stock mounting screw back by the trigger. The blue thread locker on these 2 screws on each side of the weaver rail. All the rest of the screws, you know, they were snug when I took them off, so, you know, they're kind of a self-threader into the polymer stock, so they do not need any blue thread locker on them. There is a lot of them, but, you know, that's what holds it together. The carry handle sight worked well. Like I say, the military law enforcement match grade AR-15 carry handle on eBay. I would not buy that one again because the cross bolts that hold it on just do not set low enough to get into the slots on the weaver rail. And you'd be a lot better off with one that did that properly, like the scope rings do. And as far as the UTG 3-9x32 CQB Bugbuster compact scope, it's a gem. It's really fun. It looks really cool on this rifle. You can get it so you got the proper eye relief. My 3-9x50mm mounted all the way forward still came too far back. This one comes just perfect. The objective is adjustable from 3 yards all the way out to infinity, so even indoors, close quarters, it's very clear. The turrets are exposed with locking rings, micro click adjustable, so you can lock them in. It's got the locking quick release weaver mounts on it, and they're heavy duty and they work very well, so you can quickly jump back and forth between your scope and your carry handle sight. And the reticle is illuminated either red or green. The only thing I've got to say about the scope that's negative is the rear dust cap. The flip up dust cap does not stay on when you're shooting. It can't withstand the recoil of the rifle, and after 5 to 10 shots it comes flying off. So the dust cap is not going to stay on when you're target shooting. I've got the 2-inch sunshade on it rather than the front dust cover. I kind of like it that way, so I'm going to leave it that way. And it's a really, really, really good scope. For $79.97 is what they sell it for on Amazon.com, and that's with free shipping. So that is a very good deal. That's only $10 more than the 4 to 16 by 40 millimeter center point scope. This is a much heavier duty scope, and it's got the quick release rings, and I really enjoy this scope, and I think you will too. And so that's why I wanted to review the scope. The front sight, if you buy the NP version, so you got to put your own sight on it, this is a UTG low profile Weaver mount for an AR-15, bought from Mills Fleet Farm for $23.99. And like I say, look for a better carry handle than the one that I bought. There's some really good ones in there for right around $25. I only paid $18.21 for mine, and it's now up to $19.98, and I just wouldn't buy another one. It's an awfully fun rifle when you get it trimmed out the way you like it. So have fun shooting. Thank you for watching.